Oh, have a look at this. The absolutely best roof touring storage awning shovel holder setup you can find. It's just awesome. Hey people, Anthony, 4x4 Adventures, not Diesel this time. I'm just setting up a roof rack and some awnings and just wanted to go through a number of points of information that might help you with your setup, making it more reliable and saving a few hiccups along the way. Now, obviously for Australian made and strength and quality, we're using the Roller Ridge mount. That's this one here, it's stainless steel powder coated. We've got the Roller Titan tray on that, which was chosen mainly because it's stronger than the Rhino at the time we compared them. Intrinsically stronger, quite obvious that it's stronger. And as it turns out, they're cheaper as well, so why wouldn't you? Roller's got a whole heap of accessories. Now, I'm finding out right now with the Ridge mount that my rear awning setup doesn't work with the brackets that I had before, but I can make it work with the Roller awning mount brackets. So we're just gonna have a look at that and a few options in different places and a few things that I've actually found from my experience so you can maybe avoid it. Just give you some advice. Let's head over to the bench for a minute. Right, first thing I want to cover is your fixings so you know you can be equipped with those. Now, what the Roller awning brackets come with is the these points that obviously go into your roof rack, and you can do up the nut to secure those. That's one way to do it, but I've got another option on the vehicle. The other thing I wanted to point out, even though they're stainless steel, have a look, the rust, because it's against steel. Now, different materials, I'm not going to be the metallurgist here, but you know, whether it's steel, stainless steel, aluminium, different materials react to each other. Electrolysis or something like that, I think it's called. So just beware, you're going to get some rust and corrosion, so maintenance every now and then. So put some spray on it when you put it together, maybe some MX3 or something like that. The length of the bolts. Now, I prefer Nylox, right? We've got any Nylox left here. There's some Nylox in that packet there. Nylock nut, get it? Not that size though. So Nylox is what I prefer. But if you haven't got Nylox, you can use, see, these are even just zinc. They're not stainless steel. You want stainless steel. Here you go. I think these ones might be, but look, they rust. There you go. This, I think them, oh, might not be. I think they're zinc as well. Hard to see when they're dirty, but you know, just get stainless steel nuts and stainless steel spring washers like that if you've got those. So these bolt packs. So this is your typical Champion set from Repco or Super Cheap, whatever. Different lengths here because I wasn't sure what I wanted to use. We can cut to the chase and I'll tell you to buy the 20 mil M8 by 20 at Bunnings. You get 6 in the pack, but you still only get nuts and bolts. I think you've got to buy the Nylox separate. If you're going to use Nylox, I like a big flat washer. I'll show you on the vehicle in a minute. Like these big flat washers in here with a Nylox. That's perfect. That's ideal. Stainless steel. These are, then a stainless steel big flat washer, kind of like that, but a bigger one like that. It's got to be stainless, minimum 316 marine grade, like that says there, is what I'd recommend. Flat washer, Nylock nut, beautiful. If you haven't got it, a normal nut, whatever, with some spray and a spring washer will do the job if you don't want to go to the shop, get you out of trouble. Let's go to the vehicle and I'll show you some of the complications. Actually, just before we go to the vehicle, these are the standard, you know, whatever cheapo brand. You know, they're half decent size thickness steel, but they're not as good as the Roller ones, okay? But I'm not saying they're bad, more than just the quality. You can see the rust in there and you can see the coating starting to flake off there. Again, I put the inox spray on them to help them out there. But because it was just for a rear awning, not very heavy, I was using 2 of those and it did the job until we lowered, you know, because it was higher before when it was on the LRS 34. When we lowered it, we can no longer use these. Well, we can, but the rear awning, it rubs on the rear spoiler. Over to the vehicle, you can see here the side awning. No problem. I haven't even adjusted the height. We've still got a clearance. We don't want zips and things rubbing on the paintwork, but we do want it as low and close as possible without anything touching. We've got about a finger 10 mil gap there under that middle. And I've used 3 brackets. I'll get to the reason why in a minute as well. Very important, in my opinion, to use 3 brackets on any long side awning like this one. I'll explain why in a minute, but let's get up here and have a look at this. What I'm trying to say is, with this awning mounted at the same height, it cleared it, but it was rubbing, the zip was rubbing on the paintwork and it was rubbing on the spoiler of the door when the door closed. Of course, you don't want that. And you can't adjust those other L brackets. So of course, we've got the roller brackets. We've got a number of roller brackets here. We've got a number of different awnings. We've got, you know, 270s. We've got normal. We've got all sorts, tried all sorts of different things. This one's used. I think this one's a new one. And we're just going to get that on and I'll show you some more information in a moment. Okay, so just up here, you can see here, if you get the right length bolts, that's awesome because the nuts go on and there's nothing sticking up. if you've got longer ones, because I end up with a few spares and and they stick up a little bit. Now, at the side, it might not be a problem if they stick up a little bit, and my side ones are okay, so I can't show you, but the ones I had on the back, they were long and they were sticking through, which means if you're dragging things on and off the roof, you're going to rip things open. But what's even better is if you get these other ones where you drop the little piece in there like that, and look, Allen key heads, so they'll be in there, and I can drag things over the top of these things, and it's not going to rip into my canvas bags or anything like that, loading and unloading the roof. So something to think about, right? But there's more. So you can see these roller brackets, they're fully adjustable. There's all these different hole options you can use, and it works out really well. I've got to be honest, it really does. And I also see these little, I don't know what they're for, but I use these little hooks for tie down. So instead of having too many of these, I'll just go and use these. I'll put the, if it's an Oki strap, like sometimes I'll use a combination of Oki straps, tie-down straps. Depends what's on the roof. If it's a swag, it's soft, it's light, not too light, but light enough. Generally, you know, a few Oki straps, those good rubber ones, holds it tight. It's not going to go anywhere. Worst case scenario it's not going to kill anyone. It's not like something heavy, solid steel, which you need heavy rated tie-down straps, you know, heavy items that, you know, are dangerous if they went flying off somewhere. Anyway, right, this is what I'm talking about. See, Nylox, ideally that's the situation you want. Nylox with a flat washer. Now, I'm not going to tell you that's stainless steel or not. I can't remember. I'm not sure what I had here. I don't think it is. But here you go. Look, there's your stainless steel washers, but that's with a stainless steel spring washer and nut, because that's what I've got. They'll be nice and tight. They won't go anywhere. But I just want to be really clear. I prefer, this is a stainless steel nut. I prefer the Nylox, and I prefer a big stainless steel washer like this one over here. But you're going to go and spend, you know, hundreds of dollars almost in stainless steel nuts and bolts and whatever. So the point is, sometimes it'll do. We've got the big stainless steel washers on there. That's great. And it spreads the load over the holes even better. This information is so that you can set up your vehicle, and if you actually use it, so when you get out there, it's reliable. Nothing comes loose, nothing falls off, nothing breaks, and it doesn't ruin your trip. Because I can tell you, when a side awning like this one falls off the side of the vehicle and rips through the paintwork, people are generally not happy about that. So you don't want that to happen. And that leads me to the next step of 3 brackets. Now, I've used 2 brackets with these lighter awnings, and most people are going to be lucky and get away with it, but some people aren't. 2 reasons for using 3 brackets. You can see one here, we've got another one in the middle, and another one up forward, right? So picture this, right? One of them breaks, you know it's going down, right? So that's your first reason, simple as that. If one does, you know, fatigue from all this vibration on corrugator roads up and down, and it fatigues and it breaks through there, and it could. I haven't seen it yet with these roller ones. It could happen though. If you've got one broken and you've still got 2 more, you're laughing. If you've got one broken, you've got one more, it's going down. It's not good, baby. Not good at all. So check on your trips regularly, and if you do find one broken, then you need to take action and get some other brackets at your next port of call, or you need to take it off and strap it to your roof with something else before it ends up in your paintwork down the side. Now, the other reason is, it's a bit of an engineering thing I'm not going to be able to explain to you, but like, you know, just imagine 2, it's mounted front and rear. It can flex technically a little bit. It can flex like that. You've got a lot more movement when you've got 2 points, right? It can wobble around. If you've got that 3rd point, it just really locks it in position. I can't explain it any better than that, to be quite honest. It's obviously, it's like a decking, you know, spacing the boards every 450, blah, blah, blah. You know, you can go longer, but you'll feel the flex. Well, I guess because it's a long awning. On the back here, I'm just going to use 2. Part of the reason is, well, I have actually got another one. I could pull another one off and do 3. But for something this short, between these 2, they're that close together. It's short. We're going to keep them pretty close together. Well, you know, not that close, but not all the way to the end. What is it, a 1200 awning, I guess? They're a little bit long for a Prado, but it does the job. One end I tuck in behind the shovel here, so it's got the wind block in it. The rest of it's behind the tray here, and, you know, pretty well. So there's not much wind drag from adding this rear awning, and that's what I like about these standard awnings. I mean, this is about $100. That's about $100. So you've only got about $200 on your roof. Plenty of brackets. Keep it reliable. If you just want to quickly pull something over the rear to make your lunch and keep out of the sun, whatever, because for me, I'm keeping out of the sun, not keeping out of the rain. I'm a fair weather camper. It works really well. If you want your side one, you've got maximum space at the side without, you know, losing, you know, that corner bit, you know, like an umbrella. It comes around. You lose a lot of space with those big, heavy 270s, okay? So I'm not, you know, I'm saying I hate them or anything. I'm just going, well, they're expensive, they're big, they're heavy, and you can lose a bit of space. So what we do here, we just set this up so it's flat flush here. That's what I'm working on right now, getting it all Mickey Mouse for this setup. And then we can obviously move forward. But I just thought of these tips that I wanted to show you, which bolts to use. 3 brackets along the side here. Definitely, if you've got a big 270, use 3 brackets, please. I think Kaon have got awning brackets as well. You might want to check them out. I haven't got any. Maybe I should check them out, kaon.com.au. But I've got these roller ones at the moment. Roller roof rack, it's solid. There's videos of me walking around on top of it. People say, how much load can you put on your roof? Well, at the end of the day, the more you put up there, the worse it is. And the roof limits and ratings, you know, the roof's strong. It's a matter of safety. How much weight can you drive around with and still be safe? How long is a piece of string? Keep the roof light as possible. This is just going to have a couple of swags on it, some chairs, and that is about it. Bada bing, bada boom. Hopefully that's helped you. I'll just keep moving along with this job. And if there's anything else, I'll let you know as we go. So the whole point was these are fully adjustable, and I've adjusted that to where I think I need them so that it gives me about 10 mil, so, you know, clearance, because we don't want to have things rubbing on the paintwork here, do we? Ideally, after 20,000 kilometres of an awning rubbing there, it'll be through to the bare metal, and that won't be good. And be aware, this is pretty clean actually, but they really pile up and fill up with dirt at the back here, the 150s, so you might want to make sure you've got a blower to blow it all off before you open your rear door. Otherwise, it all just goes straight in on your storage system. Yes, the storage system. Something else earlier in the video as well, where I was talking about the bolts, you know, those M8 by 20s that I put in the tracks here. Now, that may not be the original design of the awning manufacturers and whatever. Ideally, you want some nice plates that go in there, but to be honest, I don't know if they come with that. I think they just come with bolts or something, and you need different size heads, and the heads might be too small, but all you need to do is jam a screwdriver in the channel there, down to the head of the bolt, so that it doesn't spin when you tighten it up and when you loosen it, right? So that's what we've done here as well. In this case, sometimes you can adjust them so the heads of the bolt go in the channel there to keep it really neat, but that would mean I've got to lower it down. Now, I haven't tightened this one yet, it's just sitting there, but I just wanted to show you roughly to give you an idea. It's a minimal clearance, right? And the brackets, they have to go at the sides. See that gap there? You got about, I'm not going to measure anything, but you got less than a finger there. It's about probably 7 mil. So enough that if it vibrates up or down, it's loose at the moment, it's not going to hit the paintwork. You can't put the brackets in the middle. That's another reason for not using a third one. I'm pushing down on it at the moment. Minimal clearance. Let's get it all bolted up and tightened up. It's not tight yet. It's, you know, sitting like that. I can probably adjust it a little bit more if I need to. Yep, there's a little bit more room in the hole there at the top if I wanted to come up a little bit more, which I might end up doing, but I'll check it out. And there it is with the door shut, so you can see the gap under there. The awning, you know, if I push it down like that, I can make it touch the paintwork, but generally it's just not sitting. It's got the clearance there. It's probably got about, I don't know, 7 mil or something. Closest is in the middle there. All right, so, you know, if I'm patting it down like that, wind blowing, vibrating, whatever, you know, you can adjust it a bit more if you want. There's not much left in it, but I'm not going to go to the effort. I reckon that's about, if I push it down like that, I don't think anything's going to be pushing it down like that. It's actually still got a clearance there. And the good news, right where the zip is right in the gap anyway. So when I push it down, the zip's in the gap. How cool is that? Must be lucky. Some people are going, oh, it's risky. And you are right, it is a bit risky, but there's a gap there. I'll let you know if I adjust it. One of the good reasons for a minimal gap is if you have got adverse weather conditions like rain, there's no point having your awning out too far, up too far, because the bigger the gap here, then your weather's going to come through. The way these are set up, when you set it up right on the line with a straight awning, besides only investing $100, when it rains, any water isn't going to come through. And if it does, you've got all this area here to catch it, and it just runs down the rubber. So nothing comes in here. It's absolutely awesome. Where personally, what I found with the 270s I've used, they're hard to get set up to get them to come all the way around, or there's gaps here, or they sit higher and there's a gap here to let the weather in. So sometimes the cheap option actually works best sometimes. Yeah, you might have noticed, I've just tightened these up. It's all beautiful. Look, I did try and adjust it, and it was pretty much all the way there. You've just got a bit of a gap in that hole there, so doesn't mean, so if I can get Roller to watch this video, or anyone want to send it to them in an email, if they make these slots go another 5 or 10 mil, that'd be good. Just so we've got a little bit more room to adjust your typical awning clearance here. See, there's not a lot. I can just fit a finger and we're risking rubbing on the paintwork. So I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. And if it's a problem, I'll let you know in another video. No news is good news. So Roller, yeah, awesome. Love this. Love this too, but a little bit more on the slot particularly. I think it's the side one down here that's not allowing it to go down. So we just need another 5 mil on the slot. That'd be awesome. What else could we do while we're talking to Roller? Not much, actually. A bit more universal, throw in some extra wash. Use Nylox on these if you can, instead of spring. So save on the spring washer and throw in Nylox, and if you can, some nice big stainless steel washers, and just throw in a few extras. So people, if they need to use them when they're, you know, maybe a couple of extra bolts for their awning for each bracket, throw in 2 bolts with a Nylock and a flat washer like that. That way, not only are you supplying these for people, which is awesome, but you're supplying them, and perhaps you could even supply some of these so they could use these at the top instead of these sharp ones that stick up. See, ideas, man. I'm an ideas man. So send that to Roller people and tell them how many minutes they need to watch it at so that they get the tip, or they can just watch the whole video, because there's a whole heap of information for them as well. Love their products, but there's always room for improvement, right? Now, with this one, see if we could bring it up more. We could just, not that it matters, but that's just technically going to rub there a little bit, not a big deal. But if we could bring it up a bit, then that bolt would be above and clear that. Now, to give everyone an idea, the rear awning, it's about probably 10 millimeters higher than the side awning to get the clearance for the curve of the roof. Anyway, there you go. Just needs to be a bit more universal. You're right, I haven't got a spring washer there, so I'm going to take them out one by one and put 2, 4, 3 on the bolts. Thank you very much. Okay, so job done. That's how it's going to sit. As you can see, top of the awning comes up, you know, about that much. So not too bad at all. Let's have a look underneath, because some people are curious about the, I reckon it hangs down. You can see a little bit of that aluminium in the bottom of the bag. So at the top, the aluminium's almost flush with the roof rack. It's just the bit of bag going upwards, so aerodynamics is pretty good. If it's empty, you're not going to use much extra fuel. We've got the roller shovel mounts also, which are quite solid. They just go on the side there, 1 bolt, nice and tight, just screw things. And you can see the way we've got that set up, the shovel actually deflects the side of the awning that's sticking out, sort of hides it because it's a bit untidy, so it hides that and deflects it. Works really well. Yeah, I know you want to have a look what it looks like from the back. So that's your gap from the shovel, bit of a gap there. Let's go around the back here, show you. So you've got a bit of clearance there. We can, you know, open and close the door, but there is a minimal clearance, I'll admit it straight. I'm looking at about 10 mil. I'm just estimating, looking in the middle at the lowest point, 10 mil. Your awning brackets, they've got enough clearance at the side, no problem. Then we've got, so the side one's butted up, pretty firm. Well, we've got a finger gap to the, you know, aluminium extrusion from the back one to the end of the awning, just to give it a bit of space in the bag. I just sort of tuck it inwards a little bit. We have the zip forward, because at the back with the extra bag, it could hit the paintwork. So the zip just goes there. When you use it, you can pull the zip back if you want. Keep your zips clean. Put a bit of silicone spray on them. No oils or anything, silicone spray. Just clean them, wipe them, and silicone spray them to keep your zips working well on any sort of awning. And of course, along here, plenty of clearance to the, always helps with the light on, doesn't it? So yeah, plenty of clearance to that awning bracket. Like I said, we've got the 3. So that one's got a finger, the middle one, that's the closest. The front one's got plenty. And what I want to show you is, see how normally if you only had 2 brackets, if I was wobbling this side to side, right, which is quite firm and hard to move, but that would allow it to, as the front went in and out, like blowing around in the wind, that would allow the middle section here to move in and out more, putting more stress on the front and rear brackets. But because we've got a middle one, you can wobble the front one, and this thing along here is locked in. So hope you like that. Whole heap of really good value for money. Do it once, do it right. What did they say the other day? Someone said cry once, pay once, cry once, or something like that. That sounds good to me, you know, just do it right the first time. Anyway, that's our setup on the 150 at the moment. Hopefully that helps someone. If you liked it, hit the like button, subscribe, turn the bell on. Bit of a long one, but it takes time to get the information out to you and help you understand it.